outage, took off the Wi-Fi.
Angelina Jolie has been single for nearly a decade, and the internet cannot stop trying to change that. Since her separation from Brad Pitt in 2016, every dinner, every red carpet appearance, every casual outing with a man has been dissected, speculated over, and turned into a headline before the check has been paid. The latest name attached to hers is Louis Garrel, her co-star in the 2025 French drama Couture, and the rumor cycle that followed their public appearances together moved fast enough that sources close to Jolie felt the need to shut it down officially. This video covers the full story of what actually happened, who Louis Garrel is, and why the question of Angelina Jolie's love life keeps generating this much heat nearly 10 years after her last relationship ended. Watch to the end, because the detail about where Jolie says her focus actually sits right now is the part that reframes everything else. To understand the current rumors, the film that started them needs to be explained first. Couture is a French-language drama directed by Alice Winocourt. It premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2025 and opened in French theaters on February 18, 2026. Jolie plays Maxine Walker, an American filmmaker who finds herself drawn into the inner world of a Parisian couture house while navigating a devastating personal crisis, a cancer diagnosis arriving in the middle of a divorce. The role is considered one of the most personal projects of Jolie's recent career, touching on themes of illness, reinvention, and identity that have clear parallels to her own life. Her eldest son Maddox, who recently made headlines for legally dropping Pitt from his surname, worked on the film's production. The project is a family effort in the most literal sense. Louis Garrel plays Jolie's love interest in the film. He is a 42-year-old French actor with a significant career in European cinema, known for films including The Dreamers, A Faithful Man, and Jealous. He is the son of French director Philippe Garrel and has spent his career largely in French-language film, building a reputation as one of the more respected actors of his generation on that side of the Atlantic. He was married to French model and actress Laetitia Casta for approximately 10 years before the two separated. Following the separation, Garrel was linked to Polish model Ania Rubik. By the time Couture's press cycle began in early 2026, Garrel's relationship status was being described in various reports as single. The two walked the red carpet together at the Paris premiere of Couture in early February 2026. Jolie arrived in a sheer embroidered gown with gold floral appliques and fringe detailing, her blonde hair in a deep side part, accessorized with green diamond earrings and a 15-carat cocktail ring. The images were striking. The appearance generated significant coverage. And then came the reports of dinners. The celebrity gossip account Dumoy reported in December 2025 that Jolie had been photographed sitting next to a dark-haired mystery man at Uncle Lou, a Cantonese restaurant in Chinatown, New York. Initial speculation suggested the companion was Justin Levine, a composer Jolie had previously been linked to through the Broadway community. That identification was later corrected. The man was confirmed to be Garrel. Jolie had also been seen with Garrel in Paris in the weeks prior. Two cities, multiple sightings, a film they made together about lovers. The internet connected the dots in the way the internet always does. TMZ published its own report in early March 2026, and the tone was entirely different. Sources close to Jolie told TMZ directly that she and Garrel are not dating. The dinners were real, both sides acknowledged that. But the characterization of those dinners as romantic was denied. The source described Jolie and Garrel as good friends who have friends in common, and said clearly that Jolie remains single and is focused on her children and her work. The statement did not leave much room for interpretation. Jolie's side chose to address the rumors directly rather than allow them to build further momentum through silence. The denial landed in a context that made it credible to those paying attention. Jolie has been here before. In August 2024, she was linked to British rapper, author, and activist Akala after the two appeared together publicly at the Venice Film Festival and at events connected to Atelier Jolie, her fashion venture. Those reports were also denied. Garrel is in a long-term relationship with his partner Chanel Newman, who is reportedly friendly with Jolie. The connection was described by sources as a close friendship built around shared humanitarian interests rather than any romantic involvement. The pattern is consistent. Jolie appears in public with a man. The proximity generates speculation. Sources shut it down. Jolie says nothing publicly. The cycle resets with the next appearance. Part of what drives the speculation is the contrast between Jolie's dating life and Brad Pitt's. Pitt has been in a publicly acknowledged relationship with Ines de Ramon since late 2022. De Ramon, a jewelry executive who was previously married to actor Paul Wesley, has appeared alongside Pitt at major events, and the two have been described as living together. Their relationship is visible, confirmed, and has generated its own substantial press coverage. Jolie, by contrast, has not confirmed a romantic relationship with anyone since the separation, a period now approaching a decade. The asymmetry generates its own narrative pressure. One half of one of Hollywood's most famous former couples has moved on publicly. The other has not, or at least has not done so in any visible way. That gap feeds the speculation every time Jolie is photographed near someone new. The divorce itself was not fully finalized until December 2024, 8 years after the initial separation. The legal battle over their French winery Chateau Miraval became one of the most contentious and public elements of the proceedings, with each side filing claims against the other over the property's management and sale. The length and bitterness of the process was well documented. The finalization in December 2024 was the first clean break either of them had from the legal entanglement that had defined the post-relationship years. Jolie has been officially single, in the full legal sense, for only a matter of months. Given that timeline, the framing of her as someone who should be dating, or who is conspicuously not dating, or who is secretly dating and hiding it, reveals something about how public expectation is applied to women in her position that is worth sitting with for a moment. Jolie is 50. She has 6 children, several of whom are now adults navigating their own public identities. She is producing and starring in films, developing multiple projects, running a fashion venture, and continuing humanitarian work she has maintained for over 2 decades. The question of whether she is seeing someone is, in the scheme of that life, a minor detail. It is treated by coverage as though it is the most urgent open question of her existence. Jolie has not complained about this publicly. She rarely complains about anything publicly. The response from her team to the Garrel rumors was minimal and factual, a source statement, a denial, nothing more. The approach is consistent with how she has handled most personal coverage since the separation. Controlled, measured, and designed to give the press as little to work with as possible without appearing defensive. What the Couture press cycle did reveal was that Jolie remains one of the most watched women in the world even when she is simply doing her job. The film itself received serious attention. Her performance has been described as among her most vulnerable work in years. The role drew on experiences, health crises, the dissolution of a long relationship, the redefinition of identity in middle age, that Jolie knows from the inside. The coverage of whether she was dating her co-star generated more immediate viral momentum than most of the coverage of the film itself, which says something about where audience attention sits when Angelina Jolie's name is involved. Garrel has not commented publicly on the rumors. His team has not issued any statement. He attended the Paris premiere, appeared in press materials for the film, and has otherwise allowed Jolie's representatives to handle the narrative. That restraint is its own kind of statement about where the story actually originates and who it is really about. Jolie is single. Her sources have said so clearly. She is focused on her children and her work. Those children, several of whom have now legally separated their surnames from Pitt's, are building their own lives in ways that suggest a family unit that has moved through something difficult and come out the other side still intact. The rumors will continue. They always do. The next public appearance with the next person will generate the next round of speculation. That is the cost of the kind of visibility Jolie has carried for 30 years and shows no sign of putting down. Whether she is dating anyone is her business. Whether she wants the world to know is apparently not a priority. And for now, the only confirmed relationship in her life is the one she has with the work, and the 6 people who call her mom. If this video gave you the full picture behind the headlines, hit like and subscribe. Share it with someone who only caught the rumor and missed the reality. More coming soon.